The drama surrounding Shadur Sanders has the NFL world spinning. On game day in Cleveland, what should have been just another pregame warm-up turned into a viral moment that had fans, analysts, and even opposing teams asking the same question. Why isn't Shedeur starting? The scene was electric. Cameras rolling, fans pouring into the stadium, the Browns fighting for playoff relevance, and right in the middle of it all stood Sanders, looking every bit like a man on a mission. His movements were sharp, deliberate, and confident. Every throw cut through the air with precision. Every dropback mirrored the poise of a veteran who's been here before. This wasn't just another backup going through motions. It was a statement. A silent but undeniable message. He's ready. For weeks, Browns fans had been grumbling about the offense's lack of rhythm. The play calling had grown stale, the execution uninspired, and the results downright painful. The starter's inconsistency was dragging the team into mediocrity, and it felt like the front office was pretending not to notice. Then the announcement came. Shadur Sanders was officially listed as QB2 for the game against the Jets. To most teams, that might not sound groundbreaking, but for Cleveland, where the quarterback carousel has spun for decades, it was seismic. Still, no one expected what came next. Footage of Shedeur during warm-ups that captured the entire football world's attention. This wasn't some highlight reel edited for hype, just raw, unfiltered preparation. And yet, what fans saw in those few seconds was enough to ignite debates on sports radio and social media for days. His throws were crisp, his mechanics flawless. Even through a phone screen, you could feel his confidence radiating. He looked more like a starter than anyone Cleveland had under center in months. ESPN Cleveland posted the clip with a simple caption, "Browns QB2 getting loose," followed by that now infamous eyes emoji. The internet exploded. Fans flooded comment sections demanding to see him play. "Let the kid play," they cried. "Why is he still on the bench?" became the rallying cry for a frustrated fan base. But beneath the hype and excitement lay something deeper: accountability. Because if Shedeur really was this good, then what had the coaching staff been waiting for? The Browns' offensive struggles weren't exactly breaking news. Missed opportunities, wasted drives, field goals instead of touchdowns, it had become a painful pattern. And while the fan base's frustration was understandable, it also put the coaching staff, particularly head coach Kevin Stefanski, under a glaring spotlight. If Shedeur went in and succeeded, that would mean Stefanski had been sitting on a solution all along. It would mean weeks, maybe months, of avoidable losses. And in a league where job security is a week-to-week proposition, that kind of miscalculation can end careers. Still, Stefanski seemed unmoved. Week after week, he repeated the same conference mantras. "We evaluate every position. Everyone must be ready when their number is called." It sounded professional, but also hollow. Fans didn't want to hear about evaluation anymore, they wanted results. And Shadur Sanders, in their eyes, was the key. Watching him warm up, they saw something the coaching staff apparently didn't. Calm composure and that rare command that makes great quarterbacks stand out even before they start a single game. What makes this situation even more fascinating is how perfectly it captures the Browns' ongoing identity crisis. This is a franchise that has spent decades trying to solve the quarterback puzzle, only to watch other teams succeed with players they passed over. Every time a new name emerges, there's hope. Fragile, flickering hope that maybe this time it's different. Maybe this time they've found their guy. But Cleveland has a history of hesitation, a history of overthinking. And that's what's driving fans crazy right now. The possibility that they're watching yet another opportunity slip through their fingers. When you look closer, that warm-up footage represents more than just a quarterback preparing for a game. It's a metaphor for potential trapped on the sideline, for a team that's scared to take the leap it so desperately needs. Shedeur's preparation wasn't half-hearted. His timing, his reads, his footwork, all of it screamed readiness. Compare that to what the starting offense had been producing: misreads, delayed throws, turnovers that crushed momentum. The contrast couldn't be clearer. The whispers in Cleveland media began to grow louder. Local sports radio hosts who usually played it safe were openly questioning the coaching decisions. Even former players began chiming in on social media, hinting that maybe it was time to give Sanders a real shot. Fans weren't just asking for a change, they were demanding it. Because to them, this wasn't just about one game. It was about years of frustration, years of watching promising players waste away in the wrong system or under the wrong coach. And now, with the Browns standing at a crossroads, every game carries heavier weight. The playoff window is shrinking. Every loss stings more than the last. If the Browns fall again, especially to a team like the Jets, Stefanski's seat won't just be warm. It'll be scorching. The calls for his replacement will echo from every corner of Cleveland sports talk. And if that happens, the conversation will inevitably circle back to the same question. What if Shadur Sanders had played earlier? The funny thing about these moments in sports is how quickly they can shift the entire narrative. One performance, one breakout game, can rewrite a career, a season, even a franchise's history. If Sanders does eventually get his shot and performs the way his fans believe he can, he might just become the spark that reignites Cleveland's hope. But if he never gets that chance, this season will be remembered not for what was achieved, but for what could have been. That's the beauty and the tragedy of this story. It's about more than one player or one coach. It's about belief. Belief in talent, belief in potential, and the courage to make a change when it's needed most. Cleveland's fan base deserves better than what they've been given. And maybe, just maybe, Shadur Sanders is the player who can finally deliver it, but only if the organization stops hesitating and lets him prove it on the field. What's happening, football fans? The tension in Cleveland is reaching a boiling point. Do you think Shadur Sanders deserves to start, or should the Browns stick with their current plan a little longer? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth NFL drama and analysis. This story is far from over, and you won't want to miss what comes next.